What's up guys? Today, you guessed it, we're talking about the R5 again, and this time it's not all rainbows and sunshine. I shot another wedding in 4K 60, and let's just say it did not go as planned. So let's just get into it. Hello everyone, my name is James and this is The Engineering Filmmaker, where we talk about photo, video, travel, and tech. If you're interested in this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and like this video. Also, we have a forum down below here that you can join and you can ask questions, answer questions, or grow as a community. So feel free to join that, and let's get into the video. So if you are a Canon fan or an R5 user, or you're just following along for the journey of the R5, you probably have heard that it overheats. And recently you've probably heard that it overheats due to firmware, not due to actual heat. I believe this to be true based off the data that has been shown. And when I filmed this wedding, I filmed it before all this data came about, and there's a few things that I noticed that make a lot more sense now after hearing this data. To preface this, if you did not know, up in the corner here on the R5, there's a record time limit. If you shoot in 4K 60 or 120 or a mode that might overheat, it'll actually go down as you record because you get less record time as it gets too hot. And that's pretty important to know because once it hits 2 minutes, I've noticed you get an overheating warning. So keep that in mind when I'm talking about things in the video. So I filmed another wedding in 4K 60. If you want to see the first experience I had, you can see over here. It was actually a really good experience, but the case with this wedding I filmed after that in 4K 60 was a little bit different. The environment was the same. I didn't have any different settings, so I'm not really sure what the issue was there. However, it took about less than 3 hours, I'd say maybe around 3 hours before I got my first overheating warning on the R5. And that was when the timer went from 25 minutes of record time to 2. And I was a little confused as to why I already got that timer. So after I got the overheating warning, I turned it off. And this time I did things a little bit different. I took the cards out, I took the battery out, and I left the flaps open. And after I did this, I set my camera and I let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes to cool down. I figured if the camera's too hot and I open up 2 sources of airflow, it might be able to cool down quicker. Now this is where things got confusing for me because I didn't have the information yet that it might be firmware related. When I turned it back on after sitting for 15-ish minutes, it still said 2 minutes. And I was a little confused as to why I had the same amount of record time after it had just been sitting. However, I went on with my day. I kept shooting in 4K 60 until it eventually said no more. And then I changed to 1080-60, which was a little unfortunate, but I usually shoot in 1080 anyway. So as my day is going on, I try to switch back to 4K 60 as much as possible to get shots here and there to see if the camera could handle it. It either wouldn't let me shoot at all, or it would give me only a minute or 2 of time before it would overheat again. So I just skipped it and went back to 1080. And I was a little confused as to why only shooting in 1080, it still kept the camera too hot to be able to go back to 4K 60. I eventually did get a few shots in 4K 120 throughout the day, but I couldn't really go back to 4K 60 to shoot what I needed to do. So long story short, I ended up shooting the entire wedding in 1080-60 because the 4K 60 was basically unusable after a whole 3 hours at a wedding, and any other mode that overheats was basically unusable after that, which is pretty on par to other people's experiences, which is why I was so confused as to why my first experience was so good compared to everyone else's bad experience. However, now I do see the issue they were having, but I'm still not sure why. As you may have heard and I mentioned, this is most likely due to just firmware, which Canon could easily fix, but who knows if they will. I would probably say, if you're looking to buy the R5 to shoot weddings in 4K 60, don't do it. Right now, don't do it. If you're on the fence of buying an R5, I would wait to see if a firmware update comes out soon. If it doesn't, honestly, I would go with the A7S III. But with that being said, let me know, what do you think about the R5 now? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that's really it for today, guys. I'm trying to be extremely forward and honest about this camera to make sure you guys have all the information you need. So if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video because it would really help me out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's help, let's grow, and let's learn. And I'll see you on the next one.